Nobody expected the intern to be the smartest person in the room. When Alex first walked into the office, people barely noticed him. He was quiet. He asked careful questions. He spent most of his time observing instead of speaking. Most employees assumed he was just another student trying to survive a summer internship. But 3 months later, Alex would reveal something that shocked the entire company. And the people who underestimated him would be the same people trying to explain themselves. My name is Daniel. At the time this happened, I worked as a senior analyst for a consulting firm that specialized in operational strategy. Our department focused on analyzing company performance and recommending improvements. We worked with large clients, manufacturing companies, retail chains, technology firms. The work required detailed data analysis and careful communication. Most days involved spreadsheets, presentations, and meetings that lasted longer than anyone wanted. Our department manager was Chris. Chris had been leading the team for several years. He was confident and persuasive, but he had a habit that made the office environment tense. He liked to be the smartest person in the room. If someone else presented a strong idea, Chris often rephrased it in a way that made it sound like his own conclusion. Many employees noticed this pattern, but confronting a manager is rarely easy. So most people simply accepted it. At the same time, our department had several strong analysts. Emma worked in strategy and often collaborated with my team. She had an impressive ability to interpret complex data quickly. During long meetings, Emma quietly listened while others debated. Then she would summarize the entire discussion in 2 or 3 sentences. Those moments always impressed me, because she was not trying to dominate conversations. She simply understood the situation better than most people in the room. That calm intelligence made her one of the few people I truly respected at work. Then one Monday morning, the Human Resources Department introduced a new intern. His name was Alex. Alex was 22 years old and studying business analytics at a nearby university. Chris assigned him to assist our department with research tasks. When Alex joined our team, nobody expected much. Interns usually spent their time organizing data, preparing slides, or updating reports. But Alex immediately stood out in one unusual way. He paid attention to everything. Most interns focus only on their assigned tasks. Alex watched how the entire office worked. He listened carefully during meetings. He asked thoughtful questions about project goals. And he spent time reviewing previous reports instead of simply completing new assignments. At first, several employees joked about his curiosity. "He studies everything like a detective," one coworker said. Alex simply smiled and continued working. Over the next few weeks, our department began preparing for a major client presentation. The client was a manufacturing company, experiencing significant supply chain delays. Our job was to analyze their operations and recommend improvements. The project involved large amounts of data, shipping schedules, production output, vendor performance. Emma handled strategic recommendations, while my team built the data models. Alex assisted by organizing the data sets. But while organizing them, he noticed something interesting. One afternoon, he approached my desk. "Daniel," he said carefully, "can I ask something about the vendor performance numbers?" I looked at the spreadsheet he was holding. "What do you want to know?" "The delays appear to be concentrated around one supplier," he said. "That is correct," I replied. "That supplier handles most of their international shipments." Alex nodded slowly. "But according to these documents, that supplier also manages several internal logistics contracts." I leaned forward slightly. What are you suggesting? Alex hesitated. I think the delays might not be accidental. At that moment, I assumed he misunderstood something. However, Emma walked over after hearing part of the conversation. What do you mean? She asked. Alex opened several spreadsheets. He showed us something none of us had noticed. The delayed shipments were connected to a specific contract adjustment that had been approved 3 months earlier. And the person who approved that adjustment worked for the client company. Emma looked at me. This could indicate a conflict of interest, she said quietly. Alex nodded. That was my thought. We spent the rest of the afternoon reviewing the data carefully. Alex had connected several details that others overlooked. Vendor delays, contract changes, financial transfers between departments. When we presented the findings to Chris the next morning, he listened quietly. Then he smiled. This is excellent work, he said. However, during the client presentation later that week, something strange happened. Chris explained the discovery to the client executives, but he never mentioned Alex. Instead, he described the analysis as a management insight developed by the department leadership team. Emma and I exchanged a glance across the conference table. We both knew exactly where the discovery came from. But Alex remained silent. He simply took notes during the meeting. After the presentation ended, the client executives requested a full internal review of their vendor relationships. Several weeks later, the investigation confirmed the issue. A senior manager inside the client company had redirected shipping contracts to a personal business partner. The delays were intentional. The discovery saved the client millions of dollars. Our consulting firm received major recognition for identifying the problem. Chris accepted the praise during executive meetings. But something unexpected happened shortly afterward. The client requested a private conversation with the person who originally discovered the pattern. Emma spoke first. That was Alex, she said. The client representatives were surprised. The intern, one of them asked. Yes, Emma replied. Within days, Alex was invited to present his analysis directly to the client's leadership team. When he finished explaining the data connections, the room remained silent for several seconds. Then one executive laughed. You may be the most observant intern we have ever seen. After that presentation, Alex's role inside the company changed quickly. Senior leadership asked him to assist with additional research projects. Several analysts began asking for his help reviewing data models. Even Chris started treating him differently. However, the most interesting change came a few months later. The company offered Alex a full-time position immediately after graduation. When the announcement was made during a department meeting, many employees applauded. Emma looked at me and whispered something quietly. Sometimes the smartest person in the office does not have the biggest title. She was right. Alex never tried to compete for attention. He simply paid attention to the details everyone else ignored. And in the process, he solved a problem that experienced professionals had completely missed. Looking back, the lesson was clear. Titles can create authority, but curiosity creates understanding. And sometimes the quiet observer in the corner is the one who truly understands what is happening. So here is something to think about. Have you ever underestimated someone at work because of their position or experience level? Sometimes the person who seems the least important is actually the one paying the most attention. Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you enjoy real stories about workplace surprises, unexpected intelligence, and moments where assumptions collapse, subscribe to the channel. because the next story might challenge expectations even more.